What is the mode?
The number that occurs the most.
Love it! Perfect, Carolyn. Perfect. Perfect. Mode. It's the data point or points. It could be points. It might be more than one of them. With the highest frequency of occurrence. Yep. I love that definition, Carolyn. Thank you. Do we have one?
The 2, I think.
Is it 2?
Yes.
We were in the previous class. We were gazing longingly at the simplicity of your mode because they had 5. Look at their data set. Gesundheit. This only happened twice in 20 years of teaching the subject.
Oh, there's 4.
There's 5 modes in the 815 data set. 4 1s, 4 2s, 4 4s, 4 5s, and 4 8s. It's only happened over time. Never had more than 5. It only happened 5 one time back at Delaware. I'll never forget that either. And you guys apparently only have 1 because you have a bunch of 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 2s, and nothing else even comes close, right? Yeah. So you've got a similar data set to them, don't you? You've got a bunch of numbers that occurred 4 times. It's just that the 2s kind of trump it. And honestly, so we're going to put 2 because 2 occurs the most. Modes, in all honesty, don't get used very much. I save their use for when nothing else will do. So I won't use a mode unless I can't use anything else. And what's interesting about modes is where they should be used and where they're not. So think about what I just said. I'll use it when I can't use anything else. Some folks will ignore the mode and use an average and a median when they shouldn't. And I bring this up only because it has something to do with what you guys do every term and what a lot of my colleagues worry about at this school. You guys do student evaluations every term. I hope you do them in this class. But I love hearing what you guys have to say about the class, what you're learning, what could be done better, and things like that. What I don't pay a whole lot of attention to on them, although I still think you need to do them, I think it's part of the process, is the Likert scale section, which is the, here's the statement, do you agree strongly, agree?
1 through 5.
Are you 1 through 5, right? 1 is strongly disagree, 5 is strongly agree, 3 is your neutral, 2 is whatever 2 is. And, you know, I love that data. What I hate is what is done with the data. Because what they do with the data is they average it. They take all those numbers, you know, all the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s, and they average them all together, and they tell me, on average, the statement that Sean produced a safe learning environment in his class, your average was a 4.6. And I go, that's meaningless. Because it is. 4.6 what? What does 4.6 mean in that case? It means nothing. What does 5 mean?
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Yes, strongly agree. What does 1 mean?
Strongly disagree.
If I get 1 strongly disagree and 1 strongly agree and I average those together, what do I get? I get a neutral, don't I? 1 plus 5 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. That means I throw you 2 out, don't want to hear what you have to say. What? That doesn't make any sense.
You need the mode.
You have to use, thank you, Laura, you need the mode, and that's the only thing you should use is the mode. Because that data really isn't numerical. Here's the problem. 1 is strongly agree, but strongly agree is what you're agreeing with. You're agreeing that you strongly, or disagree, I guess, strongly disagree. You're coding it as a 1, but it's not a 1, it's a strongly disagree. So you need to have a mode. So what I look at is I look at which one came in the most. Or maybe there's 2 that are close. Maybe strongly agree and agree came in the most. And I'm like, okay, I can believe that most of my students are either agreeing, they're at least agreeing, if not strongly agreeing with the statement. 4.6 is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And I've heard people say things like, well, as long as you average a 5. The only way you're going to average a 5 on your rebounds is if you get all 5s. Anything deviant from 5, you're averaging below 5. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, so I mean, it's amazing to me when the averages are forced onto data. It's like saying, how did you pay for your purchase? American Express 1, cash 2, check 3, MasterCard 4. On average, it was 1.7. So is that like mostly cash but somewhat Visa? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, right? That's where you got to use the mode. So essentially, whenever you got qualitative data, you kind of have to use this guy. If you have quantitative data, you've got a choice. You can use one or the other or all 3 even. But with qualitative data, that's why I like teaching it. It gives you guys an out if you're dealing with data. in the world. It gives you an out to actually do something with the data if it ends up being qualitative, and a lot of, depending on how many psychologists and sociologists we have in here, a couple, one, we only have one. Sherry, oh, Rebecca, baby, you guys have to use modes. You have to get used to qualitative data. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And some of the people that come up on my doorstep to work on their PhD projects deal with just that. Deal with qualitative data and what to do with it. And very often we fall back on this. And it's amazing. They go, oh my God, I tried to do a Pearson's blah, blah, or a two-sample t-test. I'm like, or you can just count to see which one was the most, and then draw a picture of it and take a look at it. And they're like, oh my God, it's so simple. It doesn't have to be hard. That's the most amazing thing. You think, Math 243, my God, you're all that good at mathematics. No. You might be up all night reading and trying to understand what mathematics you have to do. The mathematics is not going to be all that hard. How much math have we done today? Very, very little. Precious little. How much analysis have we done today? It's all we've done today. It's all you're going to do in this course. 99% of it is the math is tiny. It's an afterthought almost. It's figuring out what math to do. Speaking of which, back to our data. This is fantastic data. I love it. It's meaningless, of course, but it is fun and fantastic. I mean, it's meaningless because who cares how many keys we have? And I understand that. We'll come back to more meaningful data.